Hi, I'm Bridget, and thank you so much for joining me today for this stretchy 20-minute yoga practice. So we're just going to get started today in a nice, comfortable seated position. So I usually go for just crossing the ankles, and I'm going to bring my palms to rest on my knees, palms facing down, or if you're feeling a little bit more open today, you might like to go palms facing up, closing down the eyes or just softening the gaze. Getting nice and tall through the spine. Inhale, feeling the body expand. And exhale, letting go of anything that you're holding on to that no longer serves you. Letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. And just enjoying this moment of stillness. Just you and your breath. You might like to count the breaths as they pass, starting at 1 with the inhale, 2 with an exhale, going all the way to 10, and coming back to 1. And while you've got this connection with the breath, just checking in with how you feel, checking in with the body and the mind. And as always, not judging anything, just noticing and letting it go. We'll take 3 more nice deep breaths here, seeing if you can really slow them down, fill the body with air. And just gently blinking open the eyes. We'll take a couple of rolls of the shoulders while we're here. So inhale, squeezing them up towards the ears. Exhale, we draw them together and down the spine. And then reversing the circles, so rolling the shoulders forward. And then with an exhale, sinking them down. We'll take a side body stretch while we're here. So let's bring the right palm down to our mat. Inhale the left hand up and over, opening up through the left side body. Nice and aware through the shoulders here. So drop that left shoulder away from the ear. You might start to notice that you're drawing the ear and the shoulder together, or maybe on the right side, you're dropping the head. We're going to stay nice and aware through the head and the neck, nice and aware through the shoulders. Maybe finding a little bit of movement here. You might be able to come down onto the forearm. Find the breath, maybe looking up. And then exhale, we come back up and through center and take it to the other side. So planting the left palm this time, we reach up and over with the right hand. Nice big inhale. Again, check in with the shoulders, check in with the head and the neck. Maybe finding a little bit of movement, maybe coming down onto the forearm, and maybe looking up if it feels okay through the head and the neck. Really reaching over to the left side, keeping those hips nice and grounded here. And then we'll come back up and through center. We'll make our way through tabletop, so coming onto the hands and knees. We'll walk the hands forward just an inch, and then we'll tuck the toes under and make our way to our first downward facing dog of our practice. So pressing to lift the hips, We press the chest back towards the legs, so nice and long through the spine. Again, here imagining that nice long line from the top of the head all the way down to the tailbone. You can give the knees a nice generous bend here so that you can really flatten out through the spine and press through the arms. You might like to pedal the feet, so dropping one heel and then the other, breathing into the backs of the legs. And then coming to stillness for just a couple of breaths. When you're ready, we're going to drop the left heel. Inhale, reach the right foot up, three-legged dog. We're going to bend into the right knee and take 3 nice big circles of the hip here. So drawing the knee in towards the chest, up and back around. 2 more just like that. See if you can keep the chest pressing back here. 1 more circle on this side. And then we'll straighten back out through that right leg, three-legged dog. On an exhale, we're going to shift forward onto the hands. We find our plank pose, drawing that right knee in towards the chest. Inhale, we find our three-legged dog, sending that right foot back. Exhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest and shift forward on the hands. 1 more just like that. Sending the right leg back. And exhale, draw that right knee in towards the chest, holding here for a breath. And then we step that right foot forward between the hands. Finding your lunge here, your runner's lunge, and just maybe rocking a little bit forward and back, noticing how you feel through the legs. Got that nice bend through the right knee, stacking the right knee above the right ankle, the right heel. Opening up a little bit through heart space, so drawing the shoulders back and away from the ears. And then we'll power up through the legs here. So see if you can lift the hands away from your mat, and inhale, we're going to reach them all the way up towards the sky. We find our high lunge. Check in with the lower back here. So rather than keeping that back leg straight, we're going to bring a little bend so that we can tuck the tailbone under. You should feel that nice stretch to the front of that left hip. We're reaching up towards the sky. And then on an exhale, we're going to bend into the elbows, almost like cactus arms. Moving with the breath, inhale, we straighten, and exhale, bend through the elbows. Inhale, we straighten, and exhale, bend through the elbows, and we'll bring the hands all the way back down to the mat. Find our lunge. Plant the left palm. Inhale, we reach the right hand up towards the sky. Runner's lunge with a twist. And then we'll see if we can start to lower that back knee down. So bringing the left knee back down to the mat. We'll start to reach back with the right hand. And you might just be here reaching, but maybe seeing if you can start to lift that left knee, that left foot away from the mat, and maybe taking a hold of it with the hand. Finding your twist here. Drawing that left foot in towards the glutes. Should feel a really nice stretch through that left quad here. Drawing the left shoulder back, so nice twist through the spine. And then we'll exhale, let that left foot go. Come back to your lunge. We're going to find our half splits. So start to send the hips back. We've got those left toes curled under. We walk the hands back and then draw the right toes back towards the chest. Find your half splits. Again, you might like to bring that nice bend into the right knee. I like having a bend in that knee so that you can stay nice and tall through the spine, drawing the chest towards the toes towards the chest. Find the breath. And then slowly walking the hands back, we find our lunge. Plant the palms back. We're going to lift that left knee away from the mat and step the right foot back to meet the left. Find your plank pose. So flattening out through the spine here. Again, imagine that nice long line from the top of the head right down to the heels this time. Tuck the tailbone under. And then exhale, we shift the weight forward. Let's go all the way down to our bellies here. Lowering nice and slowly, we find our cobra. So pressing into the palms to lift the chest, draw the shoulders away from the ears and squeeze them back. Exhale, lower down to the belly. We tuck the toes under, press up through your tabletop or press back up to plank, and we find our way back to our downward facing dog. Taking 3 nice deep breaths here, maybe finding a little bit of movement, and then finding stillness. When you're ready, we're going to take it to the other side. So we'll drop the right heel down this time. Inhale, lifting the left foot up, 3-legged dog. We'll bend into that left knee and take those 3 nice big circles on the left side this time. So we draw the knee in towards the chest. Chest stays exactly where it is. We draw the knee back up and around. 2 more just like that. Staying with the breath. And the last one, we'll straighten back out through that left leg. On an exhale, we draw the left knee in towards the chest, shift forward into your plank pose with only 1 foot. Inhale, send it back to 3-legged dog. And exhale, left knee in towards the chest. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And exhale, last one, we draw that left knee in towards the chest, holding for a breath here, really pressing away from your mat. And then exhale, we step that left foot forward between the hands. Take a moment to feel out your lunge here. So maybe rocking a little bit forward and backwards, just feeling out the legs. And then when you're ready, we're going to see if we can start to lift those both hands away from our mat. Make your way to your high lunge, reaching the hands up towards the sky again here. Check in with the lower back, so bend that right knee so that you can really flatten out there. Nice generous bend into that left knee. And then we'll move with the breath. Exhale, we bend through the elbows, open up through heart space. And inhale, straightening through the arms. Exhale, we bend through the elbows. And inhale, we straighten. Exhale, we bend, and we'll bring the hands back to the mat. Framing that left foot, we'll plant the right palm. Inhale, reaching that left hand up towards the sky. Our runner's lunge with a twist. And then really slowly see if you can start to drop that right knee back down to the mat and reaching back towards that right foot with the left hand. You've got to know your lefts and rights. Maybe seeing if you can start to lift the foot away from the mat and maybe catch a hold of it with your hand and then drawing it in towards the glutes. So staying in our twist here, we draw that left shoulder back. Breathing into our stretch. And then we'll release that right foot. Bring the left hand back to our lunge and we'll find our half splits from here. So we've got those right toes curled under. We're going to start to send the hips back, walk the hands back, and then draw the left toes back towards the chest, draw the chest towards the toes. So really hinging from the hips here rather than rounding forward. See if you can really flatten out. You might need to bring that nice bend into that left knee. Find the breath here. And then we'll walk it back into our lunge. Press to lift that right knee away from the mat. We plant the palms and step the left foot back to meet the right. We find our plank pose, holding here for a breath, flattening out through the spine, drawing the belly button up towards the spine. And then on an exhale, we shift the weight forward onto the hands and lower all the way down to the belly. Find your cobra, your heart opener. So pressing into the palms to lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. And exhale, we lower, and we'll find our child's pose from here. So pressing back onto the hands and the knees. I'm going to take my wide-legged variation of child's pose. So I'm going to walk the knees as wide as my yoga mat and sink the hips back down onto the heels, reaching out nice and long with the arms. Bringing the forehead to rest on the mat. Breathing deeply here. Feeling the body expand with the inhale. Exhale, feel yourself getting really heavy. Sinking down towards your mat, but we're still nice and active here. So pressing the hips down towards the heels, really reaching with those arms, opening up through the side body. And then from here, we're going to find a variation of our puppy pose. So keeping the legs where they are, we're just going to start to send the hands forward and sink the chest down towards the mat. A little bit more opening through the chest and the shoulders here. And I find that really squeezing the shoulders back and together in this pose really helps to sink the chest down towards the mat. You can rest your forehead on your mat, maybe come up onto the chin, looking forward towards the hands. And then from here, we're going to press into the hands, press into the elbows. We're going to shift the weight forward, come all the way down onto the belly, readjust the legs here. We'll find our Sphinx pose. So stacking the elbows underneath the shoulders, fingers are pointing forward. You press into the tops of the feet, press into the hips, lift the knees away from your mat, and then start to send the chest forward. And then we'll exhale, lower the chest, come back up through tabletop. So pressing back up onto the hands and the knees. We'll come back through seated, coming all the way back to lie down. So take your time to get there. And we will find our reclined pigeon. So let's cross the right foot over the top of the left knee. Draw both legs in towards the chest and then interlace the fingers behind that left leg so that you can really pull the legs in towards you. We're nice and active through the feet here, so drawing the toes back towards the knees. Staying connected with the breath. And then we'll unravel and take it to the other side. So crossing the left foot in front of the right knee this time. We draw both legs in towards the chest, nice and active through the feet here. Find the breath. And then we'll release the legs back down, unravel, bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall apart for our Supta Baddha Konasana. And then just interlacing the fingers and bringing them underneath the head, sending the elbows out to either side. Finding stillness here. Letting the breath slow down. And if you'd like to stay here for a little bit longer, or if you would like to add onto your practice, then you can pause the video here. Otherwise, we're going to make our way into our final resting posture, our Shavasana. So we'll send the legs out long. Bring the hands to either side, palms facing up, maybe lifting the chest and drawing the shoulders down. Relaxing back down, maybe lifting the hips and tucking the tailbone under. Relaxing back down. Getting out any little wiggles that you need to so that you can find stillness. And seeing if we can become really nice and present here in this moment. So bringing the attention to the breath, checking in with how you feel, noticing how the hands feel pressed against the earth. Maybe noticing the temperature in the room. Noticing any noises around you. Not judging anything, just noticing. And calming back to the breath. Just knowing that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Letting go of what came before this practice. And letting go of anything that might come afterwards. Feeling the body start to get really heavy here, melting down towards your mat with each exhale. Maybe the corners of the mouth start to lift into a little bit of a smile. Feeling gratitude for yourself for showing up for this practice today. Gratitude for your body for moving you through this practice. And gratitude for your mind just for being there. And if you'd like to stay in stillness for your Shavasana for a little while longer, then I encourage you to do so. Otherwise, we'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rock the head from side to side. Bending into the knees and just gently rolling onto one side so that you can slowly make your way back up to seated. And we'll close our practice by taking one last nice deep breath together. So inhaling the hands up and overhead, bringing the palms together. Exhale, we bring the hands down to heart space, bowing through the head and the neck. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.